Have you ever wondered about the strangest photos that time has forgotten? Today we will reveal to you the strangest and most fascinating vintage photos that you will love. I promise you, they are truly rare and interesting. Enjoy the show. Check this out. Young Robert Downey Jr. and Mike Tyson just casually hanging out in the 80s. Downey's pulling this goofy, flexing pose while Tyson's got him in a friendly, but let's be honest, slightly intimidating grip. This pic totally captures that wild child vibe of the decade. Here's Apollo 10 Commander Tom Stafford giving a friendly tap to a giant Snoopy right before launch in 1969. NASA loves Snoopy as a symbol for safety, reminding everyone to check, double check, and keep it cool. It's a light moment before a seriously risky mission, where these guys tested everything to get ready for the first lunar landing. Here's Courtney Cox on the set of Friends back in 1994. She's got that relaxed smile, probably between takes, with a script in hand. Little did she or anyone else know this show would become an absolute cultural phenomenon. This black and white shot feels like a time capsule, capturing the vibe of the early days before Friends took over TV and defined a generation. This circa 1937 shot shows the old Norfolk City Hall and Courthouse, now known as the Slover Library in Norfolk, Virginia. With its grand neoclassical architecture, it's a symbol of civic pride from an era when buildings like this were designed to impress. You can almost feel the 1930s vibe. People in long coats and hats, classic cars lining the street, and even trolley tracks running along the road. Today, this historic building stands as the Slover Library, preserving its legacy as a cultural and community hub. Here's actress Janice Carter left with her friends on a girls' night out at the legendary Stork Club in NYC 1950s. The Stork Club was the place for celebrities, politicians, and socialites, where glamour was the name of the game. The ladies are dressed to the nines, showing off the high fashion and glitz of the era. Here's Anthony Perkins on the set of Psycho, 1960, leaning casually on a ladder, smiling at two ladies in white dresses. It's a total contrast to the creepy vibe of the movie. Behind the scenes shot of Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck goofing around during the filming of Armageddon in 1998. Affleck's jokingly eating Tyler's head here, a total contrast to the intense vibe of the movie. Their scenes became iconic, but this shot reminds us that off camera, they were just having fun and taking a breather from all the action. Allison Parks in 1965, posing on a pink Dodge Charger. She was Playboy's Playmate of the Year, and this shot is pure 60s California cool. With a modern house in the background and that classic muscle car, it's like a snapshot of the American dream, freedom, style, and a little bit of glam. Marilyn Monroe by the pool at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in 1951. Dressed in a classic swimsuit, she playfully dips her toes in the water. This hotel has a special place in Hollywood's history, often hosting stars from the golden age. Shots like this defined Marilyn's image, glamorous, yet down to earth, always radiating charm. Marlene Dietrich with her luggage aboard the Normandy in 1936. Wrapped in a luxurious fur coat, she stands among an impressive collection of suitcases and hat boxes, symbolizing her glamorous lifestyle. The Normandy was the height of luxury back then, often hosting stars like Dietrich, turning every voyage into a floating fashion show. Elvis Presley and Dolores Hart on the set of Loving You, 1957. Elvis is teasing her, and Dolores seems genuinely amused. This was one of Elvis's early films, marking his transition from music to movies. For Hart, it was a memorable moment, acting alongside America's rock and roll icon before she eventually left Hollywood to become a nun. Student nurses attending a lecture at Roosevelt Hospital, NYC, 1938. These young women, all in uniform, listen intently, embodying the dedication that nursing demanded even back then. This image is a snapshot of a time when nursing education was becoming more formalized, highlighting the discipline and focus required to join the healthcare profession. A human formation of the U.S. flag made by thousands of American sailors in 1917, taken shortly after the U.S. entered World War I. This powerful image symbolized national unity and patriotism. Each part of the flag, stars, stripes, and even the flagpole, was meticulously arranged, showcasing the discipline and precision of the Navy during a time of global conflict. Miss Space at the World Congress of Flight in Las Vegas, April 1959, dressed in a tight space-themed outfit with a helmet. She grabbed the attention of military and aviation professionals at the event, event. This was right as the space race was heating up, and her look added a playful, futuristic vibe to an otherwise serious industry gathering, reflecting society's fascination with the final frontier. Department store workers on their lunch break in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 1900. These three women are perched on a rooftop, playfully tipping their hats to the camera. It's a rare glimpse into the everyday lives of working women at the turn of the century, capturing a moment of fun amid the formality of the era. Christopher Plummer as Atahualpa, the last independent ruler of the Inca Empire, in The Royal Hunt of the Sun, 1969. Dressed in an elaborate costume inspired by Incan culture, Plummer portrays the proud leader during his fateful encounter with Spanish conquistadors. The Beatles' final live performance on the rooftop of Apple Court in London, January 30, 1969. This surprise concert drew a crowd on the streets below as fans watched the band perform hits like Get Back and Don't Let Me Down. It was an iconic moment, capturing the end of an era for the legendary group, immortalized in the Let It Be film. Meet the OG drone from the 1910s. Long before we had fancy tech and remote controls, they strapped tiny cameras on pigeons to get aerial shots. Imagine the pigeon pilot saying, "Hold still, I'm trying to get the shot." Sure, today's drones are quieter and a bit less feathery, but this little guy paved the way for all those epic aerial selfies. Carrie Fisher sharing a sweet moment with Chewbacca on the set of The Empire Strikes Back in 1979. Looks like Leia and Chewie were BFFs even off screen. Forget lightsabers and blasters. Sometimes all you need in a galaxy far, far away is a big Wookiee hug. Christopher Lee as Dracula, goofing around with producer Anthony Nelson Keys in 1965. Who knew the Prince of Darkness had such a goofy side? Alan Rickman in 1991, posing with a marble bust. This artistic shot captures the intense, introspective vibe he'd often brought to his roles. With that iconic, serious look, it's like he's sharing a piece of himself with the art, reminding us why he was unforgettable in every role he took on. The line to see The Godfather at the Warner Theater on 5th Avenue, Pittsburgh, 1972. The film, starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, sparked a nationwide craze, with people lining up to witness what would become one of cinema's greatest gangster sagas. This crowd captures the moment fans were about to step into the world of the Corleone family, not knowing they were witnessing the start of a cultural phenomenon. June Blair in 1957, embodying the classic beauty and glamour of the 1950s. With her striking eyes and confident pose, this photo captures the allure that made her a Hollywood favorite. Blair was known for her roles in TV shows and appearances in popular magazines, representing the elegance and charm of the era. Grace Kelly and Frank Sinatra on the set of High Society in 1956. This was Kelly's final Hollywood film before she became the Princess of Monaco. Here she's effortlessly glamorous behind the wheel, while Sinatra adds his classic cool to the scene. A snapshot of old Hollywood elegance. Betty White in the 1950s, already shining with that charm and humor that would make her a beloved icon for generations. With her big straw hat and radiant smile, this photo captures the joy and charisma that set her apart even in her early days on television. No wonder America fell in love with her. Dolly Parton in 1978, shining in her iconic yellow gown and big blonde curls. By this time, she was already a country music legend and a beloved American icon. With her sparkling outfit and magnetic smile, this photo captures the larger-than-life personality that made Dolly a star. Albert Einstein and J. Robert Oppenheimer, two giants of modern science, discussing ideas at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, likely in the 1940s. Einstein with his groundbreaking theories, and Oppenheimer, known as the father of the atomic bomb, were both shaping the future of physics and impacting the world in profound ways. This photo captures a quiet moment of collaboration between two of the greatest minds of the 20th century. Building the hand and torch of the Statue of Liberty in Paris, 1876. This piece, crafted by French sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi with engineering by Gustave Eiffel, was displayed in Philadelphia before being sent to New York for the statue's final assembly. A powerful symbol of Franco-American friendship in the making. James Dean and Elizabeth Taylor at the Texas State Fair, 1955. Caught in a candid moment, the two stars had formed a close bond while filming Giant. This shot captures a rare glimpse of Dean's lighter side and Taylor's joy being in his company. A snapshot of Hollywood legends in a fleeting moment of happiness. This 1933 photo of New York could easily pass as a shot from the 2070s. The RCA building, now Comcast building, and Rockefeller Center towers over the city, showcasing the futuristic ambition of early skyscraper architecture. The bright lights and sleek lines make the scene look straight out of a sci-fi movie, proving that even in the 1930s, New York was already building the future. The Lions Gate Bridge under construction in 1938. This iconic suspension bridge, which officially opened in 1939, was funded by the Guinness family and became a crucial connection between Vancouver and West Vancouver. Today, It's not just a vital transport route, but a beloved symbol of the city's landscape. Marian faithful with her Dalmatian, Stara Bingley, at home in Reading, England, October 15, 1964. Capturing a tender moment away from the spotlight, this photo shows a different side of the 60s icon, known for her music and her connections to the Rolling Stones. A quiet glimpse of her softer side amidst her rock and roll lifestyle. Virginia Rogers behind the wheel of a Cadillac, 1963. This photo captures the essence of the 60s, a time when American cars symbolized luxury, and a woman behind the wheel of a stylish convertible added a touch of confidence and independence. Virginia's relaxed, yet confident look epitomizes the style and flair of the era. Café Parisien on the Titanic, 1912. This charming spot, styled like a French bistro with wicker furniture and bright interiors, offered first-class passengers a taste of Paris in the middle of the Atlantic. Located on the B deck, it featured large windows providing scenic ocean views and represented the height of luxury and elegance aboard the ill-fated ship. Young Demi Moore in 1981, just before she became a Hollywood icon. Sporting an 80s look with a tied pink shirt and floral pants, Demi's confidence and style were already apparent. This early shot captures the start of her journey to stardom. Elizabeth Montgomery in the early 1960s, before she became a household name as Samantha on Bewitched. This photo captures her elegance and charm, embodying the quintessential 60s style. Her poised confidence and natural beauty shine through, hinting at the star she was about to become. Clint Eastwood and his unlikely sidekick, Manus the orangutan, on the set of Every Which Way But Loose, 1978. This buddy comedy became iconic for pairing Eastwood's tough guy image with a hilarious, loyal orangutan named Clyde. The film's quirky duo struck a chord with audiences, adding a unique twist to Eastwood's filmography. Claudia Cardinale on the set of Circus World, 1964. Her charm and charisma brought a special sparkle to her role as the daughter of a circus owner. This glamorous look, complete with a dazzling tiara and shimmering gown, has become iconic in Hollywood history. Here's actress Rita Moreno posing on the hood of a 1954 Mercury convertible. This shot captures that classic 50s vibe, where cars and movie stars were the epitome of American glamour. With her confident smile and retro outfit, Rita embodies the charm of the golden Hollywood era. The U.S. Capitol building under construction in 1861 as the iconic dome was rising into place. Remarkably, work continued even as the Civil War began, showing the nation's commitment to growth and unity despite turbulent times. This snapshot captures a transforming Washington, D.C. in one of the country's most challenging eras. Installing trolley bus wires with a horse-drawn setup, Stockholm, Sweden, 1944. During World War II, Sweden got creative with limited resources, using setups like this to expand electric transportation. The high platform on wheels allowed workers to string wires, while the horses helped save fuel and equipment, keeping everything moving despite wartime restrictions. Grace Kelly and her sister Lizen taking a break on the set of To Catch a Thief, 1955. This Hitchcock classic was one of Grace's last films before she left Hollywood to become the Princess of Monaco. Here, you get a rare glimpse of Kelly in a candid, laid-back moment, with her sister helping her with makeup. A warm family moment amidst the glam of Hollywood. Jacqueline Smith, capturing that ultimate 70s vibe in 1976. As one of Charlie's Angels, she personified the cool and classy style of the era. The high-waisted bell-bottoms, crop top, and that woven handbag, total 70s magic. Jacqueline brought effortless elegance and a laid-back glamour that made her a true style icon of the decade. Cruising down the Champs Élysées in style. In this classic 1930s snapshot, Parisians are having a blast riding tricycles and bicycles through one of the most famous avenues in the world, with the Arc de Triomphe standing tall in the background. This was a time when people enjoyed the simpler joys of life, and the energy of Paris was as vibrant as ever. Just pure vintage fun on wheels. Here's Sophia Loren looking absolutely mesmerizing on the set of Legend of the Lost in Algeria, 1957. This iconic shot, captured by photographer Pierluigi Perturlin, shows Loren with her eyes framed perfectly by the veil, giving off major mysterious desert queen vibes. Legend of the Lost was all about adventure, treasure, and love triangles in the Sahara, and Loren's unforgettable look in the film became just as legendary as the story itself. Check out the first-class gym on the Titanic. Back in 1912, this was the height of luxury fitness, only the best for first-class passengers. From cycling machines to punching bags, they had everything a gentleman or lady needed to stay fit while crossing the Atlantic. It's wild to think they were using equipment like this over a century ago, and some of it doesn't look too different from today's gym gear. Just imagine exercising here, not knowing the ship's tragic fate just a few days later. The Dude and the Stranger, Jeff Bridges and Sam Elliott sharing a moment behind the scenes of The Big Lebowski in 1998. This movie gave us one of the most iconic, laid-back characters in cinema history, and it's wild seeing these two legends chilling together. Sam Elliott's narration and that cowboy wisdom he drops just add a whole other level to the film's vibe. And of course, Ridges totally nails the selfie before selfies were even a thing. This picture just screams, the dude abides. Here's a young Michelle Obama, back in her college days at Princeton in the early 80s. Rocking the denim-on-denim look before it was even a trend, she had that effortless style and confidence. Little did anyone know, this future First Lady would make history, inspire millions, and become one of the most influential voices in America. But here, she's just a student, navigating college life with a big future ahead. Back in the 1980s, tourists could actually visit the crown of the Statue of Liberty and get a close-up view like this. Imagine squeezing into those windows for a peek over New York Harbor. It was a tight space, but the view and the experience were unforgettable. With security and preservation concerns today, access to the crown is limited, making this photo a cool throwback to a time when Lady Liberty's head was a hot tourist hangout. Iconic moment from the set of Twins, 1988, Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger rocking matching outfits and shades. This unlikely duo brought us one of the funniest buddy comedies of the 80s. Seeing Arnold and Danny side by side, with their completely opposite physiques and personalities, was comedy gold. This scene alone says it all. These two were having an absolute blast making this movie, and it shows in every frame. A classic Saturday afternoon scene from Florence, Alabama in 1942. Back when Main Street was the place to be, with folks out shopping, couples strolling, and those beautiful vintage cars filling the streets. There's the First National Bank, looking like a timeless landmark, and across the way, the Majestic Theater, promising the latest Hollywood escape. This photo feels like a time capsule of small-town America during the war years, an era where everything moved a little slower, and people made the most of a day downtown. Warehouse of steel floats for anti-submarine nets, 1953. This massive stockpile of spherical floats was part of a Cold War-era defense system designed to protect harbors from enemy submarines. The sheer scale of these storage yards highlights just how seriously they took the threat of underwater attacks. Each of these giant floats would have been part of a network of barriers, creating a physical obstacle for any submarine trying to sneak in undetected. Looking at the lone person in the frame, it really puts the size of this operation into perspective. Miss America 1955, Lee Meriwether, grabbing a New York taxi to head to a TE studio. This candid shot by Al Berry captures the essence of 50s style. From the striped summer dress and classic white heels to the checkered taxi door, Lee had that blend of glamour and approachability that made her a hit with fans. Later, she'd go on to have a solid acting career, including roles in Batman as Catwoman and Barnaby Jones. But here, she's just another New Yorker on the move, albeit with a crown-worthy smile. Flying in the 1970s was an experience unlike any other, and Southwest Airlines had its own unique style. This 1972 shot shows a Southwest flight attendant in their classic uniform, complete with high boots and a colorful outfit that was all about adding a bit of flair to air travel. Back then, airlines put a lot of effort into making the flight experience fun and memorable right from the moment you step on board. Check out this wild piece of early tech from 1921. Before radar was a thing, this acoustic locator was one of the primary tools used to detect incoming aircraft by listening for the sounds of engines from miles away. This setup was spotted at Balling Field, USA, and was part of an era when engineers were experimenting with all sorts of creative ways to secure the skies. It's like a steampunk precursor to radar, big horns aimed at the sky, channeling sound to a listener who would then determine if an enemy plane was on the way. A real blast from the past in aviation history. Step back to New York City in 1900, and this is what Madison Square Garden looked like. Instead of yellow taxis, the streets were lined with horse-drawn carriages, each one waiting for passengers under the shade of trees. These cab drivers were the lifeline of the city's transportation back in the day, giving the streets that old-world charm. Ladies strolling in their finest with carriages ready to take them anywhere. No hustle and bustle of today, just a leisurely vibe on a sunny day in the Big Apple. This iconic shot of Princess Diana captures her in a quiet, reflective moment on the back of a yacht in Portofino, Italy, during the summer of 1997. It's one of the last pictures of her before her tragic passing. Here, Diana sits on the diving board, looking out over the water, radiating both peace and solitude. This image has become symbolic of her desire for freedom and her complex life in the spotlight. Her elegance and grace made her a beloved figure around the world, and even in moments like this, away from royal duties, she's still captivating. Here's Marilyn Monroe in a playful yet iconic moment, photographed photographed by John Floria in 1953. This photo captures her in a queenly pose, almost as if she's crowning herself. 1953 was a major year for Marilyn. She starred in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire, solidifying her place as Hollywood royalty. With that crown, Monroe embodies both the glamour and the grace of the era, playfully leaning into the fantasy of fame and femininity that her image represented to the world. Women walking down the street 1950s. Here's a daring look at the construction of the Hoover Dam in 1935. These men are standing inside a 45-ton section of a steel pipe that would soon channel the Colorado River's power through the iconic dam. It's mind-boggling to think about the courage it took to work on such a massive project suspended over a dizzying drop, with technology that was cutting edge for its time. The Hoover Dam was a true feat of engineering, and scenes like this capture the sheer scale and bravery that went into building it. Here's a legendary moment from 1972. Young John F. Kennedy Jr. sitting with baseball icon Willie Mays of the New York Mets. Mays was one of the greatest players in MLB history, known for his exceptional athleticism and his unforgettable basket catch. This photo captures the innocence of JFK Jr. meeting one of his heroes, and it's a reminder of how even the most famous families had their personal idols. Moments like these bring together sports history and American legacy in a way that just hits home. Here's a stunning shot of Yvette Menu from the 1960s. Known for her ethereal beauty and undeniable screen presence, Menu was a true icon of her era. She captivated audiences in films like The Time Machine and Where the Boys Are, bringing a unique charm and elegance to every role. This image perfectly captures that classic 60s glamour. She looks both delicate and powerful, embodying the allure of old Hollywood. This captivating portrait of Marlene Callahan from November 1957 captures the timeless allure of the 1950s. Known for her elegance and soft charm, Callahan epitomized the style and sophistication of the era. Her poised look and classic beauty make this image a memorable snapshot of mid-century glamour, embodying the golden age of Hollywood allure. Here's a rare shot of the legendary Antarctic snow cruiser, taken in 1940. This massive, futuristic vehicle was designed by the U.S. for polar exploration, aimed at navigating the harsh, icy terrains of Antarctica. With wheels almost as tall as a person, it was ambitious but struggled with traction on the snow and ice, making it more of an engineering marvel than a practical success. Ultimately, the cruiser was abandoned, left buried in the icy continent, a relic of adventurous, ambitious innovation from the past. Here's a charming snapshot of street style from around a century ago. These women, with their fashionable hats, long dresses, and classic parasols, were the epitome of elegance in their day. Their outfits reflect a time when every detail mattered, from the tilt of a hat to the drape of a skirt. It's amazing to think how much has changed in fashion since then, yet there's a timeless grace that still resonates. Sophia Loren, the Italian screen goddess, leaving her mark at Hollywood's iconic Grauman's Chinese Theater in 1962. This was a huge honor for international stars, and Lauren's signature and handprints cemented her legacy in Hollywood forever. With cameras flashing and fans cheering, she embraced her global star status, showing that Hollywood wasn't just for American icons. It welcomed international legends too. Anne Margaret in the 1960s, looking every bit like the Hollywood bombshell she was known to be. With her iconic red hair and sparkling gowns, she captivated audiences not only with her beauty, but with her electrifying performances on stage and screen. Anne Margaret wasn't just eye candy, she was a true talent who could sing, dance, and act with incredible charisma. This photo captures her in her prime, exuding that magnetic energy that made her a standout star in a competitive era. Georgia Holt, the mother of music legend Cher, showing off her style next to a classic 1957 Thunderbird. With her radiant smile and natural glamour, it's easy to see where Cher got some of her iconic looks and charm. Georgia was a beauty and talent in her own right, living the classic Hollywood life in an era of big cars and bigger dreams. An eerie yet captivating photo from 1900, showing a tall ship emerging through thick fog. It almost feels like a scene from a ghost story, with the ship's outline barely visible, blending into the mist like a phantom. This kind of image captures the mystery and allure of maritime history, making us wonder about the tales and souls carried across those waters in days long past. A classic portrait of French actress Michel Mercier, taken for her role in La Puba, 1963. Known for her captivating beauty and expressive eyes, Mercier became an icon of French and Italian cinema in the 60s. Her intense gaze here embodies the drama and elegance that defined her roles, making her a memorable figure in European cinema history. A charming moment captured in Venice during the Acqua Alta, high water of 1963. Two young Venetians enjoy a classic Italian coffee served by a waiter from the famous Caffè Florian, one of the oldest cafes in the world, even as the water rises around them. This scene perfectly captures the resilient and laid-back spirit of Venice, where tradition and elegance remain unfazed by the tides. A glimpse into the mind of Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is a manuscript draft of the brothers Karamazov from 1880. The chaotic handwriting, scattered notes, and detailed sketches give an intense look at how Dostoevsky's genius flowed onto the page. You can almost feel the passion and complexity he poured into his last monumental novel. The intensity of the draft mirrors the themes of the book: family, faith, and moral conflict, all intertwined in a masterpiece of Russian literature. Just two friends rocking the streets of NYC in the 70s. High-waisted shorts, tucked-in tees, platform shoes. It's all here. The fashion might have evolved, but the vibe? Timeless. These looks are a reminder of the effortless style that defined a generation. They're just casually owning the city streets with those killer outfits and confident smiles. Salvador Dali at work on his haunting masterpiece, The Face of War, 1940. This piece reflects the turmoil of World War II and Dali's surreal vision of the horror and devastation that conflict brings. With his trademark intensity, Dali pours his unique brand of surrealism into each brushstroke, capturing faces within faces, endless echoes of anguish. His work pulls you in, making you face the unsettling reflection of war. New York subway riders during the 1953 newspaper strike, and you can really feel the difference. Usually, everyone would be buried in the latest headlines, but with no newspapers to read, there's an almost awkward energy here. People just looking around, sitting with their thoughts. It's a rare glimpse into what silence on the subway might have felt like back then. A quiet ride in the city that never sleeps. A serene snapshot of Grace Stevens in 1904, enjoying a peaceful moment with her book under the shade of a tree. Back in the day, reading outside like this was one of the few ways to disconnect from daily routines and enjoy a bit of quiet. It's a timeless scene, just her, the open road, and her book, capturing that simple pleasure we can all still relate to. Stephen Hawking and Jane Wilde on their wedding day in 1965. This moment marked the beginning of their journey together, just as Stephen's groundbreaking career in theoretical physics was taking off. Despite Stephen's recent diagnosis with ALS, they shared a deep connection and determination to face the challenges ahead. Jane's unwavering support became a cornerstone in Stephen's life as he reshaped our understanding of the universe. Leslie Easterbrook brought some serious laughs as Sergeant Debbie Callahan in the 1984 comedy Police Academy. Lynda Carter, caught goofing off between takes on a Wonder Woman set in 1976. Carter's portrayal of the Amazonian superhero became iconic for a whole generation, bringing Diana Prince to life in a way that was both powerful and endearing. This behind-the-scenes shot shows her playful side, reminding fans that even superheroes can have a sense of humor. The series broke ground for female superheroes on TV, and Carter's version of Wonder Woman became a symbol of strength and resilience, mixed with just the right amount of fun.